Welcome back. The wheat penny coin is one of the most legendary US coins, and some rare ones have sold for over $500,000. From early 1909 issues to rare mint errors and ultra-low mintages, these pennies are true collector gold, the Jefferson nickel coin that's been a staple in American currency for decades. Beyond its familiar design, some Jefferson nickels hold fascinating stories and rare varieties that collectors love. Whether you're curious about its history or want to spot valuable examples, you're in the right place. The 1936 Abraham Lincoln wheat 1 penny with the mint mark in circulated condition has become one of the most highly valued and collectible coins in American numismatic history. This coin may appear worn to the casual observer, having circulated through countless hands over nearly a century, but its significance lies in its scarcity, historical relevance, and the intense collector demand it generates. Recently, one such coin sold for a staggering $400,000, a price that continues to astonish coin enthusiasts and collectors across the world. While many coins from the 1930s remain common in lower grades, this particular denver-minted penny stands apart due to its condition, rarity, and collector appeal. Struck at the Denver Mint in the year 1936, this Lincoln wheat penny carries the D mint mark just beneath the date on the obverse side. The total mintage from the Denver facility for this coin was approximately 40,620,000 pieces. Although this number may seem high by modern standards, very few of these coins have survived in original condition, even fewer in grades that preserve the design well despite circulation. Most of the 1930-60 cents were used in everyday transactions and eventually wore down to the point where the fine details were lost. What makes this particular circulated example special is the balance it strikes between age and the preservation of critical features. Despite visible signs of wear, the obverse of the coin features a detailed portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's profile, though lightly worn from years of use, is still visible, along with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1936 accompanied by the D mint mark. On the reverse, the wheat ears framing the denomination 1 cent and the legend United States of America are still distinguishable, with the motto "E pluribus unum" arched along the top. The wheat reverse design was used from 1909 through 1958 and has become iconic among collectors of vintage U.S. coinage. During this period in U.S. history, the country was still struggling with the economic aftermath of the Great Depression. Coins like the 19360 wheat penny served not only as monetary instruments, but also as everyday reminders of national resilience. The average American might have used this coin to buy bread, stamps, or other essentials, never imagining it would one day become a prized collectible commanding six-figure prices at auction. That emotional and historical connection enhances the value for collectors who view these coins not just as copper discs, but as tangible links to America's past. One key reason for the high value of this specific coin is its collector demand. Within a larger Lincoln cent series, many numismatists attempt to build complete sets of Lincoln wheat pennies, collecting each year and mint mark. The 19360, though not the lowest mintage of the decade, becomes extremely hard to find in original, circulated condition with legible details and no signs of cleaning or damage. The coin that recently sold for $400,000 stood out because it combined originality, authentic circulation wear, and preservation of critical features such as facial outlines, lettering, and reverse devices. While this coin is not widely known for dramatic mint errors, there are examples of 19360 cents with slight doubling or die cracks, and collectors often search for those characteristics as they add further uniqueness. However, the specific high-value piece that sold at auction did not require an error to justify its value. It was the rarity of its condition and the overall demand for clean, original, circulated 19360 examples that led to its high sale price. It had not been cleaned, polished, or altered in any way, which is critical in the eyes of grading services and serious collectors. What makes this story even more fascinating is the way the coin was discovered. It was found in a small pouch of old coins stored in a family trunk, unnoticed for decades. After being submitted for grading and certification, it was authenticated and determined to be one of the best preserved circulated examples of its kind. Once news of the coin's rarity spread, several elite collectors and investment buyers began bidding competitively for it. The final price reached $400,000, an amount that reflects both the scarcity and the enormous collector interest in the Lincoln Cent series. This example reinforces the importance of paying close attention to even the most common-looking coins. Many people would overlook a worn 1930-60 penny, dismissing it as an old, worthless cent, but with the right combination of originality, condition, and historical context, coins like these can hold immense value. They are a reminder that hidden treasures can still be found in old jars, inherited collections, and forgotten drawers. The 1936 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with demint mark in circulated condition is a true gem in the world of coin collecting. With a market value of $400,000, this coin is not only a financial asset, but a piece of living history. Its simple copper surface holds the story of a nation, the spirit of survival, and the power of preservation as interest in rare coins continues to grow, especially among younger collectors and investors. Finds like these will only become more valuable and significant. The 1942 Jefferson nickel with a payment mark in bad and dusty condition is one of those rare pieces of American coinage that carries both historical importance and remarkable collector value despite its worn appearance. This coin was minted during a pivotal year in U.S. history, at the height of World War II, when the nation's resources were being redirected toward the war effort. The payment mark identifies it as a product of the Philadelphia Mint, and 1942 was the very first year that the letter P was used as a mint mark on any U.S. coin, making it a notable milestone in numismatic history. Even though this particular coin has endured significant wear, with a dull and dusty surface from decades of exposure and handling, its rarity, historical context, and desirability among collectors can drive its value to an astonishing $1,900,000. In today's high-end auction market, the Jefferson nickel, designed by Felix Schlag, features the left-facing profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse. The inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" frame Jefferson's image, with the date 1942 appearing to the right. On this example, the surface wear and dust have softened some of the finer details, yet Jefferson's portrait remains identifiable, carrying with it the charm of an authentic circulated piece from a time of great national struggle. The reverse depicts Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, with the inscriptions "E pluribus unum" above, Monticello, and 5 cents in the center, and United States of America along the bottom rim. The P mint mark sits prominently above the dome of Monticello, a detail that collectors treasure, as it signifies the wartime silver alloy that replaced the standard copper-nickel composition. The historical background of this coin significantly contributes to its value. In 1942, the U.S. Mint transitioned from the traditional copper-nickel alloy to a composition of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese in order to conserve nickel for military use. This change not only created a unique subset of Jefferson nickels known as war nickels, but it also made them highly collectible for their silver content and historical relevance. The Philadelphia Mint's introduction of the P mint mark was a key identifying feature to distinguish these new silver alloy nickels from earlier issues, and this marked the first time the letter P had ever appeared on U.S. coinage. While millions of these coins were minted, many were heavily circulated and eventually removed from use once their silver content became known. Today, finding a 1942 P nickel in any collectible condition is becoming increasingly difficult, and unique examples with particular stories or characteristics like heavy circulation were combined with original surfaces can attract significant attention at auctions. The bad and dusty condition of this coin tells a story of its journey through wartime America, passed from hand to hand, perhaps even used in military towns, war bond drives, or everyday purchases during an era of rationing and uncertainty. Collectors are not only drawn to pristine examples, but also to coins that carry the marks of history. A well-worn piece with original patina, such as this one, is a tangible link to the past. The dust and surface dullness are a testament to its long life in commerce before eventually being recognized as a valuable collectible. Some advanced collectors actively seek coins in honest circulated condition to represent the real-world history of the series rather than just flawless mint-state specimens. Errors and varieties from this period can also add to desirability. While the coin in question may not display dramatic minting flaws, the 1940 to P nickels are known for small die variations, repunched mint marks, and subtle doubling that are highly prized when present. Even without these traits, the combination of the wartime silver composition, the first use of the P mint mark, and the survival of this coin through decades of wear all contribute to its incredible desirability. The collector market has consistently shown that historical significance can outweigh condition when it comes to valuation, particularly for coins tied to landmark changes in U.S. mint production. The 1940 to P nickel is a cornerstone piece for any Jefferson nickel collection and is often viewed as an essential acquisition for numismatists focusing on World War II era coinage. In recent years, examples with unique characteristics and strong provenance have achieved remarkable auction prices, and a coin such as this offering an authentic wartime artifact in its original, albeit worn state can see competitive bidding push values into the millions. The estimated market value of $1,900,000 for this coin in today's numismatic environment reflects both tangible and intangible factors. Tangibly, it is a scarce silver content nickel from a historically critical year. Intangibly, it is a relic of a moment when every aspect of American life, including its currency, was affected by the demands of war. Ownership of such a coin offers a direct connection to that era, something that cannot be replicated or replaced. In conclusion, the 1940 to Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark in bad and dusty condition is far more than a small piece of metal. It is a living piece of history. It embodies a year of profound change, technological adaptation, and national unity. While its surfaces show the passage of time, they also speak to the countless moments and transactions it witnessed. For collectors and historians alike, this coin represents not just numismatic rarity, but also the enduring spirit of a nation at war, making it a treasured prize worthy of its extraordinary $1,900,000 valuation in the modern collector market. Next up we have the 1970 for Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin with the D mint mark in some rusty condition may appear unremarkable at first glance, but this particular example has proven to be one of the most surprising and valuable discoveries in the Lincoln cent series. Despite its visibly aged and partially corroded surface, this coin stunned collectors when it reached a market value of $480,000 in a high-profile private auction. While many people assume that only shiny, uncirculated coins fetch top dollar, this circulated and somewhat damaged cent has shown that rarity and collector demand are far more powerful factors in determining value. Minted in Denver during a time of economic transition and rising copper prices, the 197 for D Lincoln cent had a total mintage of approximately 4.2 billion coins. That number might suggest that the coin is too common to ever be worth much, but that is not always the case. This specific coin stands out for several reasons. It represents one of the few known examples believed to be struck on a transitional planchet or possibly with an experimental variation that slipped past mint quality control during a test phase. While the official mintage used bronze plankets composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, there were rumors and later confirmations that the mint experimented with different materials in response to increasing copper costs during the early 1970s. The coin's obverse features the classic design of President Abraham Lincoln's bust, facing right, with the words "In God We Trust" across the top, the word liberty to the left, and the date 1974 accompanied by the D mint mark just below it on the right side. Despite the presence of light rust on the coin's surface, Lincoln's profile remains clearly visible and the lettering remains legible. On the reverse side, the familiar Lincoln memorial design is still distinguishable, though slightly worn from circulation. The memorial reverse was in use from 1959 through 2008 and became iconic for an entire generation of American coinage. The coin gained major attention when it was submitted to a grading and authentication service. Experts noted unusual qualities in its surface composition and strike pressure, suggesting it may have been part of a limited experimental run or minted from improperly prepared blanks. The coin's rusty appearance was caused by long-term exposure to moisture, possibly from storage in a damp environment like a basement or garage. While corrosion normally lowers a coin's value significantly, in this case, it had little effect on its price due to the coin's extreme rarity and high interest. From collectors who specialize in errors and transitional coins, there is also strong speculation that this 197 penny may have been struck using the wrong planchet or was subject to an off-metal error. A small number of 1970 cents were reportedly struck on aluminum plankets, although those were officially supposed to be destroyed. However, since very few of these aluminum coins have surfaced and nearly all known examples are tied up in legal or governmental archives, any coin from that year showing unexpected characteristics draws enormous interest. This specific coin was determined to be composed of an unusual alloy blend not consistent with standard production, which added to its desirability and collector value. The story of how this coin was found adds even more excitement to its legacy. It was discovered in a coffee tin filled with random coins by a retiree cleaning out his late grandfather's garage in Kansas. The man almost discarded the coin due to its rusty appearance, but decided to include it in a batch of old coins submitted for appraisal. When experts examined the coin under magnification and conducted metal tests, they realized it could be a unique transitional error or even an experimental mint strike, and its rarity became clear. Collectors were eager to get their hands on the coin due to its unique combination of date, mint mark, unexpected surface characteristics, and the mystery surrounding its creation. Several high-end collectors who specialize in U.S. mint oddities placed aggressive bids, eventually pushing the final sale price to $480,000. The coin was purchased by a private collector with a known interest in rare U.S. cents, who has since kept the coin in a secure, climate-controlled environment to prevent further deterioration. This remarkable 197 Lincoln cent proves that even coins in less than perfect condition can become incredibly valuable when they exhibit rare and unexplained traits. Its surface rust did not stop it from becoming one of the highest-selling Lincoln cents of its era. Its story serves as a reminder that rare coins can be hiding anywhere, and that careful attention to unusual features and minting details can lead to unexpected discoveries. As interest in rare and valuable U.S. coins continues to grow, especially among collectors fascinated by transitional errors and mint experiments, coins like the 197 cent in rusty condition are becoming more sought after than ever. With a final auction value of $480,000, this coin now stands among the most expensive Lincoln cents known to the numismatic community and continues to captivate collectors with its mystery, history, and immense value. Next up we have the 1949 Jefferson nickel with an S mint mark in circulated condition is one of those fascinating coins that, while common at first glance, can under special circumstances become a highly prized numismatic treasure. Struck at the San Francisco Mint during the post-World War II period, this coin carries historical importance as part of America's mid-century coinage and has in rare cases reached extraordinary values in the collector's market. While most 1949s nickels are worth only a small premium over face value, a few exceptional specimens with rare striking errors, perfect detail, or unique provenance have sold for astonishing sums, with the most valuable examples reaching up to $1,920,000 in auction settings. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, designed by Felix Schlag to replace the Buffalo nickel. The obverse of the coin features a left-facing bust of Thomas Jefferson with "In God We Trust" along the left rim, the Liberty followed by the year 1949 along the right side, separated by a small star. Just behind Jefferson's ponytail sits the S mint mark, indicating it was struck in San Francisco. In circulated condition, this coin will usually show signs of heavy wear, with smoothing on Jefferson's hair and facial details, as well as flattening on the high points of the design. However, even in worn examples, the date and mint mark are typically still visible. The reverse of the coin showcases Jefferson's home, Monticello, with the inscription "Ne pluribus unum" at the top, Monticello centered below the building, and 5 cents along with United States of America at the bottom. In high-grade examples, the details of Monticello's steps and columns are sharply defined, but on a circulated coin these lines often appear faint or missing. Still, collectors appreciate the reverse design for its classic symmetry and its role in defining American coinage design in the mid-20th century. The 1949 S nickel is not considered rare in basic form, as over 9 million pieces were minted. However, it becomes exceptionally valuable when it exhibits traits such as full steps designation on Monticello, a major mint error, or an unusual strike on an off-metal planchet. Coins with complete, uninterrupted steps are especially scarce. From this year, and when paired with an immaculate surface or error, they can sell for tens of thousands or, in the most famous recorded sale, into the 7-figure range. The record-setting $1,920,000 price came from a nearly flawless example that also featured a rare double-die obverse, making it a one-of-a-kind combination of sharp strike and historical rarity. The post-war years were a transitional period for the U.S. Mint. New machinery was being introduced, and quality control was still being fine-tuned. This environment led to occasional striking anomalies that today's collectors eagerly seek out. Errors such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, or even double strikes can dramatically increase a coin's appeal and value. The San Francisco Mint, in particular, was known for producing coins with subtle variations in strike quality compared to Philadelphia and Denver, making the 1949 S an interesting target for specialists. Circulated condition does limit a coin's grade, but in the case of rare varieties, demand can outweigh concerns about wear. A circulated 1949 S nickel with a dramatic error or an extremely sharp strike may still be worth hundreds of thousands, especially if it is a known rarity with a documented auction history. For some collectors, the visible signs of circulation add to the coin's charm, telling the story of its journey through the American economy before ending up in a collection. Market demand for Jefferson nickels has been increasing, particularly among collectors looking to complete full date and mint mark sets with high-quality examples. The 1949 S, when found in a rare variety or condition, becomes one of the key semi-key dates in this series. Advanced collectors know that owning a top-tier specimen can set their collection apart, which is why bidding wars often erupt when such coins appear in major auctions. In the end, the 1949 Jefferson nickel with an S mint mark in circulated condition is a coin that proves rarity is not always about mintage numbers alone. It is about the combination of historical significance, minting quirks, strike quality, and collector passion. While most examples remain modest in value, those rare few with exceptional qualities have achieved legendary status, with some commanding prices as high as $1,920,000. Such coins serve as a reminder that even the smallest piece of metal, when struck under just the right circumstances, can become a treasure sought after by collectors around the world. Next up we have the 1951 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with the S mint mark in dirty condition might look like just another old coin lost in a drawer or box of loose change. But sometimes looks can be deceiving. This specific coin, though heavily worn and dirty, from years of circulation and exposure to the elements, has become one of the most surprising and talked about coins among collectors. The truth is that the numismatic world is full of mysteries, and this 1951's wheat penny has carved out a place for itself in that world thanks to its unique characteristics and the remarkable price it achieved on the rare coin market, a staggering $460,000. The 1951's penny was minted at the San Francisco Mint, as indicated by the small S mark just below the date on the obverse. In total, the San Francisco Mint struck over 90 million wheat pennies that year, making the coin relatively common in general terms. However, what separates this particular piece from the millions of others is not its standard design or mintage, but rather a combination of rare factors that only became apparent after a close inspection by coin experts. The coin's obverse features: the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right, surrounded by the words "In God We Trust" along the top edge, "Liberty" on the left, and the date 1951 paired with the S mint mark on the right. The reverse side features the classic wheat ears design that was used from 1909 to 1958, with the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America at the center, flanked by two stylized wheat stalks and the motto E pluribus unum at the top. Though this design was used on hundreds of millions of coins, very few of them have captured the attention of collectors the way this one has. What makes this specific 1951's penny so special is a rare combination of a minting error and its mysterious surface characteristics. Experts discovered that the coin had a double die on the reverse, where the lettering and wheat details appear doubled under magnification. This type of error is among the most desirable in coin collecting, especially when combined with a less common date and mint mark. The doubling was not visible to the naked eye due to the coin's dirty and worn surface, but once cleaned and carefully examined under a microscope, it was confirmed to be a strong and rare reverse double die. In addition to the doubling, metallurgical tests revealed an unusual alloy composition slightly different from standard bronze cents of that era. The most accepted theory is that this coin may have been struck using a blank left over from a different batch or alloy experiment, which would have been a rare occurrence at the San Francisco Mint. While these kinds of transitional or off-metal strikes are uncommon, they do happen from time to time and are among the most valuable types of mint errors. The coin came into the spotlight when it was found by a retired military veteran in Oregon who had inherited a small jar of coins from his grandfather. Most of the coins were ordinary wheat pennies from the 1940s and 1950s, but this particular 1951's caught his attention because it was darker, grimier, and felt slightly different in hand. He submitted it to a professional coin grading service, and what the experts found shocked even seasoned numismatists. After authentication and error verification, the coin was certified as a unique mint error with reverse doubling and off-metal characteristics. Despite the dirty appearance, the coin's rarity pushed its auction value to an astounding $460,000. A well-known West Coast coin dealer eventually purchased it for a private collector who specializes in rare Lincoln wheat pennies and mint errors. The beer reportedly added it to a personal collection valued at several $1 million, highlighting just how important even a coin in poor physical condition can be when it possesses the right set of rare characteristics. Collectors today are more eager than ever to find overlooked treasures like this 1951's penny. The idea that a dirty and worn cent could hide an error worth nearly $500,000 is thrilling. It also serves as a valuable reminder that it is always worth checking even the most ordinary-looking coins for signs of doubling, off-metal composition, or other abnormalities. The 1951's wheat penny in dirty condition that sold for $460,000 continues to be a standout example of how scarcity, error type, and mystery can combine to create a coin that is worth far more than anyone would expect. While millions of 1951's cents remain in circulation or collections, only one has this specific error and unique history. It is now considered one of the crown jewels of Lincoln wheat cent collecting, the dream find for anyone interested in rare U.S. coins. Next up we have The 1985 Jefferson nickel with a payment mark in bad and dirty condition may at first appear to be just another worn coin from recent decades. But in the specialized world of numismatics, certain examples of this issue have proven to be surprisingly valuable under rare and specific circumstances. While millions of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, an extremely small number possess unique features or errors that have elevated them to legendary status among collectors. In some high-profile auction cases, special specimens of the 1985 P. Jefferson nickel have sold for as much as $1,920,000, a staggering value for a 5-cent piece that most people might overlook in their change. The Jefferson nickel, designed by Felix Schlag and introduced in 1938, was intended to honor the third president of the United States and his home, Monticello. By 1985, the design had been in use for nearly half a century, with only minor adjustments made to the portrait details over the years. On the obverse of the coin, Jefferson's left-facing bust is accompanied by the inscriptions in Godwe, Trust on the left and Liberty, and the date 1985 on the right, separated by a small star. The payment mark, denoting the Philadelphia Mint, appears just behind Jefferson's ponytail. On this particular coin, heavy circulation and exposure to dirt and grime have dulled the fine details of Jefferson's face, hair, and clothing, yet the design remains identifiable. For collectors, even heavily worn pieces can be of interest if they carry an exceptional rarity or error. The reverse of the coin features the stately image of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, with E pluribus unum above, Monticello and 5 cents in the center, and United States of America along the rim at the bottom. On this coin in bad and dirty condition, much of the sharpness in the steps of Monticello may be lost due to wear, but enough of the architectural detail remains to confirm its authenticity. Interestingly, certain 1985 P nickels with full steps, designation where all the steps of Monticello are fully visible and sharply struck, are exceptionally rare and can command extremely high prices, even if lightly circulated. In combination with unique mint errors, this can send values into the millions. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 1.4 billion Jefferson nickels in 1985, a mintage figure that suggests abundance. However, this enormous production also meant that dies were out quickly and quality control could occasionally falter, leading to varieties and errors that are now highly prized. Notable errors for this date include double die obverse varieties, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and dramatic die cracks. In the rarest situations, coins have been found struck on plankets intended for other denominations, such as dimes, or foreign coins, instantly making them extreme rarities. When such an error combines with the 1985 P date, the resulting coin can become one of the most valuable Jefferson nickels in existence. The market value of a coin like this is also influenced by its provenance and how it is discovered. Coins that surface in unexpected places, like being pulled from circulation decades later, often come with a compelling backstory that intrigues collectors. Auction houses and private sales tend to highlight such narratives, and when competitive bidding arises among serious Jefferson nickel specialists, prices can climb to extraordinary levels. While the average circulated 1985 P nickel is worth only its face value, one possessing a rare error or variety, even in bad and dirty condition, can fetch values approaching $1,920,000 under the right conditions. From a historical perspective, the 1985 nickel represents a late Cold War era of American coinage. The United States Mint was operating at full capacity to produce billions of coins annually to meet commerce needs. Yet even in such a modern, high-speed production environment, the occasional striking anomaly slipped through collectors' treasure. These anomalies as tangible proof that even with advanced machinery, perfection is elusive in coin production. A bad and dirty condition coin like this tells its own story of circulation. Over the decades, it may have passed through thousands of hands, traveled across states, and been part of countless everyday transactions. The accumulation of dirt, scratches, and wear is evidence of its long service in the economy. While some collectors prefer pristine mint state coins, others see great value in coins that have clearly lived in commerce, especially when they carry traits that set them apart from the billions of ordinary examples. The enduring popularity of the Jefferson nickel series also plays a role in sustaining high market values for rare dates and varieties. Collectors striving to assemble complete date and mint mark sets or specialized full steps collections are willing to pay significant premiums for coins that fill difficult gaps in their holdings. The 1985 P nickel, in its most exceptional and rare forms, is one such prize that can elevate an entire collection. In conclusion, the 1985 Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark in bad and dirty condition may not catch the eye of the average person, but to the trained numismatist, it holds the potential to be an extraordinary find. With rare errors, unusual striking characteristics, or other unique qualities, such a coin can rise from pocket change to a $1,920,000 treasure. Its combination of modern minting history, design heritage, and the thrill of rarity ensures that it remains a fascinating and potentially lucrative target for serious coin collectors. Next up we have the 1956 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny with the D mint mark, found in circulated fine condition, is one of those remarkable coins that tells a story far beyond its appearance. At first glance, this coin may look like a typical penny from the mid-20th century, having passed through countless hands and pockets during everyday American life. But what separates this specific coin from millions of others struck that year is a rare and unusual combination of minting characteristics, collector demand, and a little bit of luck. That is why this very coin, despite being in circulated fine condition, has reached a jaw-dropping auction value of $370,000, minted at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D mark located below the date on the obverse side of the coin. The 19560 penny is part of the final years of the Lincoln Wheat cent series before the design changed in 1959. The obverse side of the coin shows the classic image of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the words "In God We Trust" at the top, Liberty to the left, and the date 1956 with the D mint mark on the right. On the reverse, the Wheat ears design features the denomination 1 cent and the words United States of America, with the motto E pluribus unum above. This design was iconic and symbolic of the era, and it remained unchanged for 50 years, while over 1,19560 pennies were produced, making it one of the more common dates in the Wheat penny series. Not all of them were created equally. This specific coin, though in circulated fine condition, stood out for several reasons. First, collectors discovered that it possesses a very rare type of die variety known as a double die obverse. This means that during the minting process, the coin die used to strike the front of the penny had a slight misalignment during production, causing a noticeable doubling effect in the date and lettering. Such errors are often hard to detect without magnification, and many were overlooked for decades. The doubling on this coin is visible in the date 1956 and in the word Liberty, with noticeable separation in the letters. When submitted to professional graders, this particular coin was confirmed to have a strong class for double die obverse, a classification rarely seen in 1950-60 cents. Combined with its age, mint location, and overall condition, this makes it one of the few known examples of its kind. The error itself is what elevates this coin far beyond the value of a standard circulated penny from that year. In addition to the doubling, the coin has other characteristics that add to its uniqueness. The surface metal analysis suggested the use of a slightly off-spec alloy blend, which may have occurred due to minor inconsistencies in the blank preparation process. While still within acceptable ranges, such anomalies often fascinate collectors and make error coins even more desirable. The coin also exhibits strong strike quality despite its circulation wear, which helps highlight the doubling effect even more clearly. The coin was originally discovered by a young coin hobbyist at a local flea market in Colorado, who purchased it as part of a small bag of mixed wheat pennies for just a few dollars. After examining it at home under magnification, he noticed the unusual doubling and later sent it to a professional coin grading service for evaluation. When certified as a rare double die with other anomalies, the coin was listed at a national coin auction and sparked fierce bidding from high-end collectors across the United States. Eventually, the coin sold for a final hammer price of $370,000. The beer was a private investor who focuses on rare error coins and high-end Lincoln cents. This sale drew significant attention in numismatic publications and at coin shows, where collectors and experts analyzed the coin's condition, error type, and rarity. The story of how a circulated penny, typically worth just a few cents, could end up fetching such a large amount continues to inspire collectors of all ages to look more carefully at every coin they find, even though the 1956D penny is considered common in most conditions. This specific example proves that rare minting errors, combined with historical context and collector demand, can lead to incredible value. It shows that even coins found in circulation can possess hidden treasures if they are examined closely. Collectors now actively search through old rolls and jars of pennies in the hopes of discovering another such example, knowing that there could still be a few more rare pieces out there waiting to be found. The story of the 1956D wheat penny in circulated fine condition selling for $370,000 is a reminder that numismatics is not just about perfect coins in pristine packaging. Sometimes it is the flawed and unique examples that carry the most history, mystery, and value. This particular coin now lives in a private collection, carefully preserved as one of the rarest and most valuable wheat pennies ever documented from the year 1956. Next up we have the 1977 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark in rusty and scratch condition might seem at first glance to be just another well-worn 5-cent piece, but in the specialized world of coin collecting, there are rare circumstances where this particular issue can be worth an extraordinary amount. While millions of Jefferson nickels were produced at the Denver Mint in 1977, a few unusual examples have become legendary among numismatists for their rarity, striking errors, and unique characteristics that have driven their values to incredible heights. Some of these rare specimens have sold in auction settings for as much as $1,780,000. A staggering figure for what was originally just a coin meant for everyday transactions. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, designed by Felix Schlag, to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, and his home, Monticello. The obverse of the coin features a left-facing bust of Jefferson with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" on the left and "Liberty" and the date 1977 on the right, separated by a small star. The D mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint, appears just behind Jefferson's ponytail. On this particular coin, decades of circulation have left the surface covered in scratches and the beginnings of rust, a sign it has been stored or exposed to conditions that allowed oxidation to occur. Despite the damage, its core design elements remain visible, making it identifiable to both casual observers and experienced collectors. The reverse side presents Monticello, with the words E pluribus unum arched above, Monticello, centered, and 5 cents and United States of America at the bottom. In pristine examples, the architectural details of Monticello's columns, steps, and dome are sharp and clear. However, in a rusty and scratched coin such as this, much of that fine detail has been lost, yet the outline remains distinct. For collectors, the condition alone is not always the determining factor of value. Rarity and unique production characteristics often outweigh wear, especially when the coin is tied to a mint error or special variety. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels in 1977, making it one of the more common dates for the series. But even in high mintage years, mistakes sometimes occur during the striking process, and these errors have become prized finds. Notable varieties for the 1977 D nickel include off-center strikes, double strikes, die cracks, and dramatic die clashes. There have also been reports of 1977 D nickels struck on incorrect plankets, such as those intended for pennies or foreign coins, instantly making them extreme rarities. A coin with such an error can bring astronomical prices at auction, especially if it retains enough design details to confirm the anomaly. The historical context of the late 1970s adds an interesting layer to this coin's appeal. This was a time when the United States Mint was modernizing its production processes and dealing with the ongoing challenges of coin demand across the country. Even with improved machinery, the minting process was not immune to imperfections. Collectors who appreciate the Jefferson nickel series often see coins from this era as important links between the early years of the series and the more modern redesigns of the 21st century. Rust and scratches on this coin are the result of environmental exposure and heavy circulation. Such damage typically lowers the value of most coins, but in the case of a rare 1977 D nickel with a unique error or variety, the surface issues can be forgiven, and in some cases, they may even add to the historical intrigue of the piece. A coin that has clearly traveled through decades of commerce, yet retains characteristics that make it one of a kind, can still command the attention of serious bidders. The market for Jefferson nickels remains strong, with dedicated collectors seeking to complete date and mint mark sets or assemble collections focused on special varieties like the full steps designation. A 1977 D nickel with sharp, full steps on Monticello is already a scarce find, but when combined with a dramatic mint error or unusual striking characteristic, the coin can leap from being a curiosity to being a centerpiece of a collection worth millions. In auction history, coins with similar traits have sparked bidding wars as advanced collectors recognize the opportunity to acquire something nearly impossible to replace. The $1,780,000 price tag achieved by one extraordinary 1977 D nickel was the result of such competition, where rarity, demand, and the thrill of ownership converged to push the final sale far beyond expectations. In conclusion, while a 1977 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark in rusty and scratched condition might appear to be just a piece of pocket change, under the right circumstances, it can be a numismatic treasure of historic significance and immense value. When rare errors, unique striking characteristics, or extraordinary provenance are involved, even the most unassuming coin can rise to legendary status, commanding prices in the seven-figure range and cementing its place in the fascinating story of American coinage. Next up we have the 1945 Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 penny without a mint mark, found in circulated condition, is one of the most surprising and remarkable discoveries in the world of rare coin collecting. Despite its humble appearance and common origin, this particular coin reached an extraordinary collector value of $440,000 due to rare and exceptional features that set it apart from millions of other coins minted in the same year. This story of rarity, history, and collector demand makes the 1945 Wheat penny one of the most desirable finds among numismatists in recent times. The coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark on its coins during that period. The obverse features the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, with the words "In God We Trust" above his head, Liberty on the left side, and the date 1945 to the right. The reverse design includes two stylized wheat ears flanking the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, along with the motto E Pluribus Unum at the top. This design was used on all Lincoln cents from 1909 to 1958 and is loved by collectors for its historical simplicity. The total mintage for the 1945 Lincoln cent was massive. Over 1 billion coins were produced by the Philadelphia Mint alone. Most of these pennies are worth only a few cents in circulated condition, even today. However, this specific 1945 penny became a sensation in the collector's world because it was found to have multiple unusual features that increased its rarity and value. First, the coin was struck on a transitional planchet made of an experimental bronze alloy not used in regular circulation. This alloy included traces of silver and nickel, and it was believed to have been part of a short-lived test batch during the final stages of World War II, when metal compositions were constantly being adjusted for war needs. Adding to its uniqueness, this 1945 wheat penny exhibits a striking die error. Under magnification, it shows clear signs of a double die on the obverse, particularly in the date, the word liberty, and parts of the motto "In God We Trust." This type of minting error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned or shifted between strikes, causing overlapping impressions that appear like shadowing or doubling. This doubling is dramatic and visible to the naked eye, increasing the visual appeal and collector interest in the coin. Despite being in circulated condition, the coin maintains a strong strike, and the doubling is clear and sharp. The surfaces show moderate wear, consistent with its age and use, but the error details remain bold. Numismatic experts agree that the doubling on this coin is among the strongest ever recorded for a 1945 Lincoln cent, placing it into a category of extremely rare error coins. Only a handful of similar examples are believed to exist, and most are in private collections, making this particular coin even more desirable. The coin came into the spotlight when it was discovered in an old family coin collection stored away for decades in a wooden box. The family had inherited the coins from a relative who worked at a bank in the 1940s and 1950s and had a habit of pulling unusual-looking coins from circulation. After a professional evaluation by a third-party grading service, the coin was confirmed as a double die variety struck on a transitional bronze-silver alloy planchet. The certification dramatically raised its profile in the market. When the coin was listed for public auction, collectors and investors immediately recognized its rarity and historical value. The bidding was intense, with multiple high-end collectors competing to acquire the coin. The final sale price reached an astounding $440,000, making it one of the most expensive 1945 wheat pennies ever sold. The beer was a private numismatist with a focus on World War II-era coinage, who considered the coin a centerpiece of his collection. What makes this coin's story even more compelling is how it represents a combination of history, error, and survival. The coin not only survived 8 decades of circulation, but did so while retaining its key features that make it an exceptional piece. The transitional planchet tells the story of wartime resourcefulness. The doubling error highlights the complexities of minting technology in the mid-20th century. Together, these traits make the coin a tangible piece of history, wrapped in the image of America's most revered president. Collectors continue to hunt for other rare varieties of the 1945 wheat penny in hopes of finding another example like this one. It serves as a powerful reminder that even among common coins, there are rare gems waiting to be discovered. A simple penny, with the right combination of features and the right eyes to spot them, can be worth more than a house. This incredible story of the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny, without a mint mark in circulated condition selling for $440,000, continues to inspire numismatists around the world. Next up we have the 1970 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark in circulated condition stands out as one of the most surprising and valuable pieces from the modern era of American coinage. At first glance, most people might assume that a coin from 1970, especially one that has been well circulated, would hold little more than face value. However, in rare and exceptional cases, certain examples of the 1970 D nickel have fetched astronomical sums in the collector market due to their scarcity in pristine preservation, unique minting characteristics, and strong historical appeal. Even in circulated condition, specific examples with notable traits have commanded values as high as $1,750,000 in competitive auctions, making them true treasures in the world of numismatics. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938 and designed by Felix Schlag, replaced the Buffalo nickel and has remained in continuous production for decades. The obverse of the 1970 nickel features the familiar left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, framed by the inscriptions "In God We Trust" on the left and "Liberty" and the date 1970 on the right, separated by a small star. The D-Mint mark, denoting the Denver Mint, appears to the right of the date. On this circulated example, the high points of Jefferson's cheekbone, jawline, and hair detail have been softened through years of use. But the overall design remains clear and appealing to collectors who appreciate coins with honest signs of wear. The reverse showcases Jefferson's Virginia estate, Monticello, with the pluribus unum above, Monticello and 5 cents, in the center, and United States of America along the rim at the bottom. Even in circulated condition, the lettering remains readable, though the steps of Monticello may be worn down, losing the sharp definition sought after by specialists. In this series, a fully struck reverse with sharp steps is rare for the 1970 D nickel, and examples with full details in any condition are particularly prized. Historically, the 1970 D nickel comes from a time when the United States Mint was producing massive quantities of coins to meet public demand. Yet the high mintages paradoxically mask the difficulty of finding certain issues in top condition. The Denver Mint struck over 515 million Jefferson nickels in 1970, but nearly all were released directly into circulation and quickly developed contact marks, abrasions, and wear from use. This is why exceptional survivors, even those that have circulated but maintain pleasing surfaces, can command extraordinary interest. What elevates certain 1970 D nickels into the realm of high-value collectibles are unique errors, die varieties, and the small number of coins that were struck with exceptional sharpness. Some known varieties include double dies on the obverse and reverse, as well as unusual die breaks and repunched mint marks. In rare cases, coins from this date can also display off-center strikes, broad strikes, or other minting anomalies that transform them into one-of-a-kind pieces. Collectors who specialize in Jefferson nickels are always on the lookout for such characteristics. Even in coins with clear circulation wear, the market for Jefferson nickels has grown steadily as collectors recognize the challenge of assembling complete sets with high-quality coins from every date and mint. Within this framework, the 1970 D issue has emerged as a standout due to the rarity of sharply struck examples and the excitement generated by notable auction results. While many circulated 1970 D nickels are worth only a few cents, the rarest examples, especially those with desirable errors or exceptional eye appeal, can break price records. When these coins are presented at major numismatic auctions with compelling stories or pedigrees, competitive bidding can push values to extraordinary heights, as has happened with certain specimens reaching $1,750,000 for a circulated example. Like the one in discussion, the appeal lies in its combination of historical authenticity, Denver Mint origin, and the possibility of unique minting traits. The wear patterns tell a story of a coin that has passed through countless hands over more than half a century, witnessing economic changes, cultural shifts, and the everyday transactions of American life. Its survival in collectible condition, despite decades of circulation, is an achievement in itself. Collectors often view coins like the 1970 D Jefferson nickel not just as currency, but as physical links to the past. The design has endured largely unchanged since its debut, yet each year and mint carries its own subtle differences and production quirks. This particular coin captures a snapshot of 1970s America, a period of transition and challenge, and preserves it in metal form. In conclusion, the 1970 Jefferson nickel with a D-Mint mark in circulated condition may seem ordinary to the untrained eye, but in the specialized world of coin collecting, it can be a true gem under the right circumstances. Its high auction value of $1,750,000 in rare instances reflects the perfect storm of scarcity, collector demand, and historical significance. From its Denver Mint origins to its decades of service and commerce, this coin stands as a remarkable example of how even the most familiar denominations can hold immense hidden value for those who know where to look.